Hello, welcome back to the Caring Conversation studio. I'm fed and watered, had my lunch, feeling ready for the afternoon, got about 1 billion interviews to do. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Well, the first person we have is Sally. Hi Sally, how are you?
I'm really well. How are you?
I'm brilliant, thank you. Just had a nice sandwich and, woken up a bit.
Oh, I haven't had time for that yet.
You haven't found time for lunch? No.
No.
It's difficult, it shows, to find time.
Yeah, it is.
To find time for lunch, just to escape for 10 minutes and get yourself some food. It's a good move. It's a good move.
After this, okay.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, they won't know. They'll think you're still doing the interview. It's fine.
Yeah, good idea. Sneak off.
Right, so we're going to have a chat about kind of the future of funding. What do you think about it? So obviously we were on a panel together before this and talked about kind of self-funders. And I think people have got this sort of vision of self-funders being super, super wealthy, being out $2,000 a week not being a problem. But actually I think it's way, way more complicated than that.
I think reality is quite different. I think it's nice. There are some people who are in a position to be paying the sort of 2,000, and I've heard even higher, even in Yorkshire, where I'm from, where it is all a little bit cheaper. But at the end of the day, what we're talking about is real families, and real families often don't have £2,000 a week to find somehow. So there are some very difficult conversations going on with families. They're very challenging circumstances that people are finding themselves in, and big choices. This is often people's inheritance that we touched on earlier, that they're making a decision about. So I think the positioning of your care proposition is more important than ever, and whether that comes down to the environment, like we were talking about earlier, and the amount of money that you're investing into your care business, then doing the thinking ahead of time is what I always talk to my clients about. It's easy to kind of think you're jumping on a bandwagon and everyone's got all this money, but actually, is there a point that a space of the market that actually you can carve out for yourself, which then comes back to research, doesn't it? So marketing basics.
I wonder if there's a trick for kind of care providers of being open about that early in the process and saying we accept payments from multiple parties, for example.
Yeah, I think
that would be quite a good idea, couldn't it?
And I think that even something as simple as that, that's almost innovation that says you're thinking more about who your target clients are, or who's paying the bill. And putting yourself into those shoes, because certainly as a family we would be in a position where we would be splitting it between us, and probably not equally in terms of me and my brothers. So I think that's a really interesting point that you make.
Yeah, I think I guess it's difficult to maybe identify that in the process for people, but I guess making people aware through the marketing process would be useful, wouldn't it, to say
I think
that.
So. And marketing itself has changed so much in the last 8 to 10 years. People expect more. They expect more information. They expect more help as part of the process. And I think that's something that you can deliver as a care provider, that says we've actually walked people through this process many, many, many times. And it's very likely that the person you're dealing with on the phone that day has never done it before. So we use our experience and our kindness to actually guide them through that process. And an awful lot of that is done online because people are doing their research before they come through the door. You have the opportunity to stand out from your competitors if you've done some of that thinking and helped them along the process.
Yeah, if it wasn't big enough and complicated enough already, add some multiple stakeholders in.
Yeah,
it's going to, then that could be 3, 4, 5 people, including maybe the local authority or the local NHS trust that would be paying for part of it. So I think identifying that would be really useful. Have you got any kind of sort of tips, ideas you can share about that process that people might go through when they're researching a care home? What to look out for? From the care provider's perspective, I suppose.
From a care provider, I mean, obviously,
what should they be doing? From the book.
Yeah, from the book. I mean, I've written a book, and my book is 12 Steps to Care Marketing Success, and I'm really, really keen on the idea that people are actually starting at the beginning of the process. So, like in a lot of businesses, people show up in the care sector and wow, we've got this amazing home, but actually, how much of your targeting have you done? And we all make assumptions about what people can afford and so on and so forth. So I think making sure that you've done your homework, and that you appeal to your target market. So not
so
trying
I think
to be
step one. Understand your target market type of thing.
Yeah, and the difference between branding and marketing. So you don't have to be a big brand to have a brand, but you do have to understand what it involves, which is knowing who you are and making sure that your staff know what it is that makes you stand out from your competitors.
I think people often think of, when they think about brand, they think about the logo, but actually it's so much deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
It's about kind of who you are as an organisation, and that sometimes articulates itself in the end in a logo, a picture, things like that. But ultimately, brand is about understanding what the business is,
and what's your promise to your customers, and how do you demonstrate that in what you do every day, rather than, well, here's our logo and we just show up and we're just the same as everyone else. And I think traditionally care marketing is pretty safe, pretty boring, which means you don't stand out. And if you're a smaller provider, then actually the gold is in doing some of that thinking and standing out from some of the big guys.
I suppose the thing is, you also have to stand out in a way which is sort of true and meaningful for your brand. So don't stand out by making yourself look like a luxury provider if you're not a luxury provider.
I mean, that's just awkward. The idea that you've got the most amazing website with the most beautiful photographs, and then somebody arrives at the care home and it just isn't that at all. But there is nothing wrong with being homely and using that to your advantage. That says, if you want a luxury hotel lifestyle type of care home, we're not it. And it's okay not to be that thing, and to take your position within the local community.
Yeah, I think you want to use your marketing to set the expectations at the correct point,
definitely.
right? So I stayed in a hotel last night. It was a guest house, and actually, no frills. No, it's fine. It was good. It was what I expected.
Yeah.
But they didn't sell it to me like it was a Hilton. Sold it to me like it was a guest house. So,
So
my expectations were tempered in the right way,
Yeah.
which meant that then when I got there and it was what it was,
Yeah.
I was happy with what
Yeah.
I got. And actually, for what they offer, I would say it's a 10 out of 10, right?
Yeah,
Just because,
good value, absolutely.
Good value.
Interestingly, I stayed somewhere and it looked all really, really nice on the photos, and the TV didn't work, there was no Wi-Fi, and the coffee machine pod thing was missing, and it's like, actually, we left really disappointed.
Yeah. So even though you probably paid more and
So
for a premium product.
We paid for something a little bit, so we kind of thought, we'll treat ourselves because we're not going out partying. Actually, end of the day, we'll be tired. We need to just chill out. So we just sat in front of a laptop watching the telly.
Well, that's an insight into the middle night of the care show, isn't it? Most people in their
100%.
pants eating takeaway in a nice hotel room, or an nice hotel room. Yeah. If you book it far enough in advance, you can get a nice hotel, but not if you leave it last minute. So I've got one final question for you.
Okay.
Takeaways.
Oh.
Plates or no plates?
Plates.
Yeah. All types.
Yes.
Someone brought up pizza. And I was like, pizza, you'd have pizza out of the box, right? But then actually, when we get pizza at 5 and a bite for lunch on the odd occasion,
No plates.
we plate it, right?
Yeah.
But because we're sharing the pizza.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, plate it. Although my partner, he eats his fish and chips with the carton on a plate.
Okay, yeah. Safety plate. Safety plate. That's what it is.
And I'm like,
plate.
wait, why are you doing
Yeah.
that?
I mean, in theory, that plate's clean, but it's not. It's going to go in the
No,
dishwasher,
it's got to go
right?
in the dishwasher.
It's not going to go back in the cupboard.
Brilliant.
Lovely. Well, thank you
Great
very much for
question.
coming, Sally.
Thank you so much.
We will be back shortly with another interview.